Hey guys, Dazzler Magic here, and I've got another deck. This is probably the most requested on my channel since I made Life You to Death 5. Some of the cards in there are very devotion-based, and some of them are just hyper-powerful. And I thought, boy, these would be so fun to run in mono. Now, you wouldn't normally take a two-color deck that works fine and say, boy, I wish I could eliminate one color. You know, that's just options gone. But this is weaponized life gain, and this is weaponized white devotion. And they're similar, but they're different. So this is called Lifemare. Now, the original one is like 88 cards, so I just took everything that had 4 and shrunk it to 3, basically. So now we've got Lifemare shrunk. And it turns out that like relative to each other shrink actually kind of works. So it is still sitting at 64 cards right now because I'm still getting the ratios of like the removal relative to the offense a little bit right. But I know that 1 to 2 of the cards that I'd be removing are lands, so it's pretty close to done. It's just, I didn't want to upload it wrong. And I'll tell you right now, you really can't get rid of Ajani's, and you really shouldn't get rid of Heliod. Hushbringer is kind of the point, so it's like, I don't know. It's killing me to pull 2 more cards, but, you know, what are you going to do? So, you could just, if you really wanted to play, just get rid of Reverent Hoplite. I mean, it's funny, but that's about it. It's actually like the least important card in the deck, which is funny because it's one of the most powerful devotion cards. Now, devotion last time we played Theros. Holy hell. Devotion this time, let me just, in case you haven't done this, that's it. That's all you get. That's it. Like, what even is this? Well, in fact, this is what you get for white, and one of them's an alt. So you get 4 cards. And this one's garbage. That's all you get. In fact, here, I'll turn on Not Collected. There, technically Athreos if you want to mix stuff. Wow, it's non-existent. But this is still a devotion deck, and the funny thing is, you might have noticed, I didn't even put a Chimera in. Turns out a 3/3 flyer for 2 when the rest of the deck isn't flying and it doesn't gain life actually isn't anything. But yeah, this deck is just too funny because it's weaponized life gain mixed with tiny, tiny, tiny amounts of devotion leveraging. So they've watered down devotion across the board. The most powerful devotion color right now actually seems to be black, and the most powerful card is Gray Merchant. Bit of a combo there, bit of a problem. I think they could have stood to bring back Master Waves, just saying. But this deck really does work. It really, really, really does. So, okay, we got God's Willing, the white counterspell, duh. Kind of wish it was 4, but like I said, it has shrunk the whole damn deck. So, relative to each other, it's about right. Then Ajani's Pridemate, you know, game winner. Really wish it was 4, once again. It might be 4 in the final version because, I mean, Angelic Gift is good. It's an invisible card, and it's literally free devotion. Because it's, you know, grant flying, draw a card, but I don't know. Then we got Dawn of Hope. Okay, that cannot be under 3. Definitely not. This is card draw, but once you start drawing cards, you're going to overdraw. So yeah, having 3 out of 60, you might not hit it in the first place, but if you don't, you're probably winning the game anyway. So it's either card draw engine on a long game, or it's like, don't show up, I'm just going to win without you. Then we got Daxos. I mean, he's just an absolute tank, and then he's a recurring life gain trigger, and he's double devotion. So all things considered, he's really damn good. He's basically the whole deck. Now, that said, his importance in actual gameplay and combat, I probably could cut him to 2. So if I wanted to, I could go 1 lower on him and up on Ajani's, and the deck might be better, but it would be slower and more procedural. This guy's just like, you drop him in, he's got 10 toughness. You know, block everything, basically. Then we got Hushbringer, which you have to run 4 right now because every single damn deck is either Simic, Esper, or what's that other one? Demir, which this is why I don't like nicknames. It's one of the 3 with Thassa flickering some bullshit. Either some elemental and it's the ETB crap, or it said stupid agent of treachery, which should have been banned a long time ago. It honestly just never should have been printed. So they're probably gonna have to ban Thassa. It's completely out of control. But this shuts it down, and it's a flying lifelinker. So, I mean, it's an insurance policy, and the fact that it interferes with some of the cards in this deck, and it's still a 4 of. Oh, then we got Pacifism, just a little 2-cost pin down. Just take a big threat, get it out of the way. Love it. By the way, that artwork. Oh my God, Jesper Edging. This font is really weird. Whoever you are, Jesper, good freaking job. I love this. Anyway, then we got Banishing Light. I mean, this is universal. This is bye-bye creatures, but for 50% less mana. And this is bye-bye everything for 3 mana. And then while we're at it, Conclave. which could technically cost 0 mana, but usually it's just a little bit reduced because you don't tend to get out that much stuff with this deck, especially not just miles of tokens. So, you know, I wouldn't go lower though, because this deck needs mountains of removal, because you need to take something, especially a non-creature, non-land permanent, and stop it. Like, if it's an enchantment, an artifact, or a planeswalker, you need to get rid of it, because that will beat this deck. So that's why we're going heavy on the Banishing and the Conclave. Then we got one Gideon Blackblade, just because his -6 is hilarious. And his +1 is like, it's either a free swing, it's like a defensive swing in the air, it's lifelink on Ajani's Pridemate, it's whatever you want. And then he himself is indestructible, which is hilarious. And then he's a planeswalker. By definition, he draws the attack away from your life total and towards him if they think that the -6 will be devastating enough, or if he's being annoying enough in the gameplay. Also, double devotion. Love that. So, kind of optional. He's not the cheapest card. If you're building this in paper, you could totally give it a skip. Then we got Heliod. I mean, every time you gain life, put a counter on something. I mean, come on. And then he grants lifelink. Like, if you're playing white, run 4 of them. It's that simple. Then we got Linden. Now, this one, as much as I love Oprah here, triple devotion, maxed out, 3/3 vigilance, love it. All she does is whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain 1 life. That's it. So, I mean, it's a mountain of triggers, and that's cool. You can draw a ton of cards, but they have to attack, which isn't always safe. And I didn't put the lifelink flyers in here, so I'm tempted to cut her, but oh my god. I mean, vigilance, 3 toughness, and triple devotion. She's like so good. You can't not put Linden in a devotion deck. She is one of the weaker cards, so potentially on the chopping block, just saying. Then we got Ajani, Strength of the Pride. 0. That's how you win games. 0. That's literally one of the win cons. They will forfeit, or you will just overswing into their face. If you can get to 35 and you 0 him, it's over. Also, I'm running 7 Ajani's Pridemates because he's 4 of them. You just -2. There you go. In fact, he's multiple of them. So I don't even know how many Ajani's Pridemates I'm running. They probably shouldn't have printed this card. And then the +1 is hilarious. I mean, that's just a huge bomb life trigger. So I love it. And then I already covered this. Nyx Lotus, because it's a devotion deck. Why not? I mean, you could honestly probably cut this too, but for just piling up the payments for Dawn of Hope to draw card after card after card, wonderful card. But I did only put in 1 because it's legendary, and this isn't like a ramp deck. So, once again, very expensive card. In paper, it's not completely necessary. It's just kind of fun. A lot of counting going on with this, though. Kind of annoying. And then the last one is just Reverent Hoplite. Just straight up stall the game out with a buttload of human soldiers. Really simple. Then I did put in 4 Castle Ardenvales because it generates infinite humans. But if you have a Dawn of Hope out, that costs 4. This costs technically 5 because you have to tap this land and lose access to it. These have lifelink. These do not. So not that important. This is not a high priority unless you're just like, I need 2 blockers per turn and I have mana. Let's go. Then we got Idyllic Grange. This is huge. So this counts on 3 or more planes, but you can put a counter on something. So, I mean, that's huge. You just drop a counter onto, I don't know, even like Hushbringer. Boom, now you just doubled it. So, yeah, helps keep stuff alive, helps hit harder. This is good. This is a good card. They just got 15 planes straight up. So I believe that's 23 lands. You could easily run this with 21. 22 seems like a little bit better number. So if I cut this by 2, I could get rid of 2 cards and we're good. So I mean, right now I can just get rid of Nyx and Linden and call it a day. But I like having little unexpected one-ofs that are kind of fun and just help the deck and stuff. Otherwise, it would just be a very direct one-trick pony, boring blah deck. But, those win games. They're very, very direct and they're very 60. So, yeah, whatever you want to do, whatever style you want to lean into, cut that card accordingly. But I wouldn't get rid of like a Banishing Light. You need this much removal and more. Trust me, I've played about 15 games with this. I feel like I don't have enough removal every game, and I have mountains of removal. The best thing is all this removal counts for devotion, which is huge. But I will say, do not run this above 60. There are some decks where you absolutely can and should logically run it far above 60, but you do not want to diffuse Heliod. That will weaken the deck to a point where it is unacceptable. So you do need to get this to 60. I just wanted to show the options. So let's just get some gameplay. The first example is absolutely wonderful about how to or not to play this. All right, so that's a decent open. We got 2 lands, we got the Pridemate, we got the free draw card on the Angelic and the Hushbringer, and then some removal. I mean, that's pretty ideal, I'm not gonna lie. So I could have brought out Hushbringer first, But based on what I already saw, I'd almost prefer them to take out the Pridemate, which sounds crazy, but it is what it is. So, all right, so I can't swing. He's got Death Touch, whatever. I've got removal, cool. Daxos, you can see, least useful card right now because of Death Touch. Now, he wants to nuke my Hushbringer with the Dab on the Haters card. He can dab on that. Infinite card draw, I'm probably going to need it because he's going to have so much removal. Otherwise, without 4, 5, 6 lands out, it's pointless. So I'm trying to fish for a land here. I do get it. Comes in tapped, though, unfortunately, so I don't get to play the Dawn of Hope. But still looking pretty good. Definitely pretty good. Now, you can see, Devotion doesn't mean much right now. I'm still trying to win with my Ajani's Pridemate, but it's not non-existent because Daxos could block something huge. And this deck could run like a 6/6, you never know. So, boom, he's right back down, and now, here we go. This is what I held my removal for. Now, I was never going to use removal on that ley line. Never. Never going to happen because it's not important enough. Now that I'm going to overdraw you 3-1, now we've got a problem. So that is like kill on sight level. So I thought, okay, 2 left, Daxos, cool, let's go. Would be nice if I could swing with my Ajani's, but I have 1 removal left and that's it. Now he's got 2 Death Touchers. That's kind of pissing me off. The power of Death Touch is really good. So now I have 1 spare removal and I thought, okay, enough of this crap. Let's go. I could have dropped in Gideon and made my Ajani's indestructible. That would have been an option, but this was very, very direct. Now I swung with Daxos on purpose thinking, oh, well, he's got to let him through because he knows without a Death Toucher, I'm going to start swinging with Ajani's Pridemate. Which I am. So like he made a huge player there getting rid of Daxos who literally can only hit for 2, but I think he knew he was going to do that. Unfortunately, there it is. So leave your removal until you absolutely need it. Like either to win the game like I did there or for the most important, absolute pinnacle of the deck, the cornerstone of it that runs all the triggers, runs the major mechanic, whatever. If he would have been outdrawn me 2-1 with that stupid Innkeeper, I would have been in trouble. So once again, do not do what new players constantly do, even experienced players, where they're like, if I got rid of this, I can swing wide open. Yay, temporary little board state boost. Now I've got the advantage. No, you need to use that removal as a dagger to assassinate the only thing that they can possibly bring out to stop you. It just almost doesn't matter how long it takes. Now, against certain decks where they're trying to do something involving a lot of lands or controller draw or set up something, okay, you might not want to let the turn counter get too crazy because them drawing 10 more cards and you drawing 10 more cards, they're going to have the advantage. But normally, all you have to do is be patient, wait for the game-winning card to come out or some game-stopping card like Teferi, and then get rid of it and proceed. And you could usually just at least swing away with the air or something with, wings strapped to it or Gideon or Heliod or, just whatever. A mountain of tokens. So the whole, I'm going to wait patiently until you bring out something that I can't let you have. And the whole time I'm going to be like slapping you in the face with small or big creatures. Very, very popular classical MTG deck archetype. I believe I called them a hold and punch deck. It's slightly different than a duck and cover where you're like trying to just virtually hexproof your giant flyer and just hit them. This is like, I don't really care what the board state is. I'm going to win eventually. Oh, there's a target. Boom, get rid of it. It's like a sniper deck. So as soon as they bring out something you can't deal with, you stop it and you just keep hitting them and keep hitting them, keep hitting. That's why it's a hold and punch. You hold what you can't let them get away with and then punch until you win. So let's see another wonderful example game. So 1 lander, got a mulligan. Okay, this is less than ideal, but Daxos is not very important, especially early game. So, he should be in the deck. It's just he's very timely. Now, it's a green deck. Okay, I need Daxos. Except it's a Simic deck, so that's about as far away from green as you can get. So I could tell, okay, ETB effect, the castle, this is a ramp flicker deck. This is either elementals or it's Thassa bounce with treachery or both. I think it ends up being both. Unfortunately, this deck, this start is a disaster. The shuffler is such a broken card grouping piece of garbage that I end up with 2 Dawn of Hopes. And, obviously I started with 6 cards. He's already got a Thassa. This is bad. This is very, very, very bad. So, I've got removal and I can't use it because it costs 1 too much. So that's fun. Banishing would have gotten rid of her. Oh boy. So I'm like, well, throw out Daxos. It's literally the only thing I can do. And then if he stays out for 1 turn. So there's Risen. So Thassa is going to start bouncing him over and over and over. Now, if I could get out a Hushbringer, his entire deck shut down. But it's also a ramp and draw deck to an extent. So he's going to overflow me eventually. I thought, okay, do I really need Hushbringer if Thassa's gone? No. So I get rid of Thassa, and you could probably guess. I mean, this game's a disaster. Guess what happens next? Come on, dude. This guy was slow playing like an asshole, by the way. Come on. Today. Remember, I'm playing this at 200% speed. Agent of douchebaggery. He steals the removal. What does that do? What does controlling it help him remove it? Because it doesn't. I don't know what the hell he did there. Yeah. Well, now Agent of Treachery doesn't do a damn thing as Hushbringer's out, but Nissa, who's shaking that ass, is gonna be sending lands my way, which is that's a lot of damage, even for a life gain deck, especially the way I set up. So I'm like 10 turns behind at this point because this game start was just a mulligan disaster. It happens. He's playing slow like an asshole. So, okay, we get Idyllic, and then we get an already devotion set up Heliod. I thought, okay, now I'm swinging in the air. Heliod, there you go. I'm going to gain a metric buttload of life just based on Heliod and literally anything else. Now, if that Hushbringer was something else that didn't have lifelink, I could just pay 2 and give it lifelink. Although I'm a little bit short on mana, and I kind of want to pay to draw cards so I can, like, get this going. And right now, Reverent Hoplite would actually be pretty nice. So he drops in a Treachery, and get this, he realizes it won't work. His whole deck's shut down. Elementals do nothing and Treachery does nothing. He can't win. He forfeits. It's that simple. It's that simple. I got rid of the game-winning card and then stopped his entire mechanic. Bye-bye, get the hell out of my game. And little warning to anybody running that deck, it's probably going to get banned. Something from it is going to get banned. And it's probably Thassa. I mean, it could be Agent of Treachery, but if you've seen Risen Reef get flickered, oh my god. And this deck, I hate to break it to you, does even worse than this. And it sometimes runs Spark Duplicate. I did record it, but it's like 30 minutes long, so I'm not going to put it in this video. But I played against this exact deck. Oh, except he actually splashed white, which was kind of weird. But I board wiped him 4 times, literally all 4 Gideons, and because he stole so much of my shit over and over and over and kept getting flickers with Thassa, I ended up losing. I actually ended up losing 4 board wipes. And you might think, but weren't you swinging with giant beastly creatures the whole time? Yes, he stole my life. He stole everything. He stole my planeswalkers. I think he got 4 theft flickers in with Thassa and Agent of Treachery before I could stop him the first time. And even after board wipes, I couldn't stop it. He kept pulling into it. So the card draw, the control, and that bullshit combo, all 3 of them send the deck into like tier 0 territory. Forget tier 1. So if people don't find a way to stop this, which I mean, Hushbringer stops it, cool, but they have ways to get rid of Hushbringer, just saying. But then again, white has counter spells. It's called God's Willing. And the Reindeer Force Field or whatever. But still, yeah, this is going to be an arms race. And as soon as the chips fall where they are, I think we're going to see a tournament where that Thassa flickering bullshit dominates and they're going to have to do something about it. I'm very confident about that. But the good news is this deck absolutely shuts it down. And that deck is a little slow for how fast this deck is. You're probably going to draw into a Hushbringer and you're probably going to be able to protect it. Or you'll put so much pressure on them, they'll have to block with things that they actually need. Or, whatever. There's all kinds of ways. You're just exiling. Just get rid of Thassa, get rid of Treachery. There you go. They're screwed. Same with Thassa or Risen Reef. I mean, what else are they going to flicker? So yeah, Thassa is the new Oko. She is the Oko level disastrous design mistake of this set. Although I'd say it's an absolute dead tie with that Hydra thing that doubles the counters every time. That if you haven't played against that, consider yourself lucky. So I mean, there's other decks that this beats, like white-green auras is a thing, aura stack. This is fast enough and control-y enough to get rid of it. I mean, it can chump for days, it can exile, it works. Black-white life gain, the creatures aren't big enough, and this does the same thing. It just turns into a shootout, and in the long run, this has more steam. And I'm sure people are playing other stuff, but that's primarily what I've seen, at least in the Platinum League. So yeah, this deck is a wonderful match for all of them. So if you're looking for something to play that's very solid and runs a ton of older cards and doesn't require that many wild cards, I would definitely look at this one. So deck list in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.